Hey, what's up guys, my name is Sandro, and today we're going to be talking about the number one reason why you don't really need expensive speakers or monitors. And the reason we're tackling this is because I've been giving a lot of feedback a lot lately on the evolution of sound, and as well as some of my other teammates, members, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of the times we get the same excuse that we don't have monitors or we don't have expensive monitors and stuff. So we're going to be tackling the issue of why you don't really need expensive monitors, and I'm going to give you guys an example, okay? So let's get started. So, you're going to go out with Lana Del Rey. She's banging, made Summertime Sadness, and your pants have been sad ever since you saw her picture. You want to bang her. So you make a sick track, she hears it, but someone else mixed and mastered it for you. So, you know, it sounds amazing. She's like, let's go out to eat. We'll talk about a collab, and maybe you'll collab with her in the hotel later. So you bring your track, it sounds amazing in your room, you mix it with your most expensive speakers in your room, it's treated and shit, it sounds amazing in there, and great. So you go to your car, you know, you rent a Lamborghini, or maybe let's just say you rent a G37, because I own a G35. You play it in there and it sounds like shit, and she's like, wait, is this your new track? And you're like, oh yeah. And then she just, you know, slaps you, gets out the car, and you go home, jack off. But pretty much you're like, why did my track sound like shit here and it sounded amazing in my car, in my studio, and I have like the most expensive speakers ever? And the main reason for that is a little thing called correlation. And that's the number one reason why expensive speakers don't matter, because of correlation. Every room is going to sound different, and the correlation between your room and the car is going to be totally different. So pretty much what correlation is, it's a mutual relationship between two things. We're going to apply it to music mixing. So if my bass sounds amazing in this room, but it sounds like too much in the car, that means I need to tone it down a little bit in my studio in order for it to sound amazing in my car. If in the club I play my track and it sounds too much bass, and then I go in here and it sounds amazing, then I need to compensate in here for when it's going to be in the club. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is you need to correlate. And pretty much to do that, you need to kind of make the track, mix it in your room, play it in the car. And if the bass sounds too much, you come back into your studio and you tone down the bass a bit. And you go back in your car and you play it. Okay, it sounds good. The bass isn't drowning everything. Now it's amazing. Alright, so now you know the correlation between your room and the car. So a lot of the times, a lot of producers, the way they test out their tracks, and this is the way I do it, is I play a track similar to the one I have. Let's say I make a progressive trance track, like the Dear Life remix I made. I play Marlowe's song, one of Marlowe's tracks, so Haunted with Jano, and I play that in my car and see the mixing, how it sounds like loud, and then I play my track, and if it sounds similar in quality, then it's done. If it doesn't, then I'll do a few notches more highs and sort of stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty much the way correlation works. So now in your room, you know the characteristics of your room, and it doesn't matter if you have expensive speakers or not, you can adapt to them. Let's say I have M Audio cheap speakers, $300 ones. If I can make a better mix than you in those speakers, because I know their characteristic, I know the way they need to sound in order for them to sound amazing in the club. The Atoms are the same thing. They're going to have their own characteristics. They're probably going to be louder, but I know that maybe the Atoms they have too many high frequencies. So whenever I mix something and the room, it sounds really high frequency, then I lower it down a bit, or maybe it needs to sound high frequency in here in order for it to come out in the car. So pretty much the number one reason why you wouldn't need expensive monitors is correlation. As long as you can correlate between how it will sound like out of your monitors and in your room to in the club being played on loudspeakers, as long as you can correlate and know the correlation, then you're going to be fine. So I hope this kind of makes sense to you. It's really debatable, but for me it has worked. I used to have big monitors, and I thought the bigger the better, just like everyone, and my mixes sounded like shit until I learned how to mix, and then still it sounded like shit. I had these monitors until I figured out the correlation between my room and the club. So hopefully you guys can figure out the correlation between your room, your monitors, and to the club. And one last thing, you don't need monitors to mix or master. You can use headphones as long as you can correlate as well. The only advantage monitors give you is that you pretty much have a better sense of the stereo field. And also for those of you guys who can't make melodies, you don't need a piano. You can make a melody with the dog. You can make a melody. If you can't make melodies, you can't make melodies on a piano. You know what I'm saying?